Hello, Wolfmind here, and today we're going to be doing something very special. And since I have recently hit 500 subscribers as of today, I'm going to start doing a shipbuilding tutorial series here on the channel. And today we're going to be starting off on bows. And I believe next time I want to do sterns and then hulls. We're going to do pretty much all the basic parts of a ship. And I'm just going to show you examples, and we're just going to go right into it. So right here we have the basic center point of your bow, and at least to me the bow on a ship is pretty much the main focus point, because it's pretty much one of the big defining areas on a ship. So right here we have your basic 45-degree angled bow. And this is pretty much a basic ship or basic shape for ships. I usually use this shape a lot in my cruise ships, which I'm sure you can notice that. Over here we have kind of another 45-degree angle, but it goes up right here. This is common usually on fishing trawlers, service ships, tugboats, you name it. Usually for like a service ship or like a tug, like an ocean tug, they would have like rubber bouncers here. Just when they bump up against the ship, it won't do any damage. Right here is something that is common on fishing trawlers, or just more classical kind of, I don't know. The thing is with bows on ships, they're all pretty much unique. Not one, well, unless they're sister ships, but not either one is alike. And right here we have more of a shallow kind of angle, and this is mostly used for high-speed boats, such as mostly high-speed ferries, speedboats, you name it. Anything that goes fast in the water usually have a bow that has a very low profile so that you can keep a good amount of speed. And then right here, some ships, such as when King made I'm drawing a blank on that one ship, sorry about that, but he made a cruise ship recently that had a curved bow to it. And usually this is on cruise liners, mostly. Some other ships have them. They're mostly just a bow that is more curved, like a circle. So yeah, these are the basic shapes of a center point on a bow. Next, we're going to cover the next angle that is very important, which is your angle, I would say, along the water, like how your ship comes out. And basically you need these two dimensions, is what I like to call it, to make a bow. And as you can see right here, we have the 45-degree angle front part that we saw back there. And basically this is more of a circular shape bow. And let me grab a block here, and I'll show you how I do my bows. So I kind of do I start with the shape down here, and then I build up the shape I want up here. And usually, since I'm building replicas, I take dimension stuff and all that good stuff and mark it out, and try to work and best fit it from a picture as good as possible to the real thing. So what I do is I place a block and bring it over here, and that pretty much starts like this. And it's kind of like, if you think about it, it's like a staircase kind of building thing that I do. And it's basically just like, do this, take that out, do this, take that out. And that's how you do it for, and sometimes if it's not necessary, you can just keep the block there like that and just keep going. But I usually like to knock it out just because that's how I do it. But yeah, so it's basically like a staircase thing, which is what I said. And that's how you do one wide kind of angles, which I know a lot of first-time shipbuilders like to do it like this over and over and over, and it ends up making a triangle, and that does not look very good. So you need other angles to your bow to make it look more realistic. So as for these kinds of shape, the two angle, or like I'm going to call them by the block. So two angle, basically just like the staircase, or at least the part right here, but you just keep that other block, and that basically carries this shape all the way up along the bow. And as you remember in the Erewhon, I had a kind of a horrible style is kind of what I say it is, because I had a style that I did not learn this kind of bow building yet. So that's why the Erewhon's bow and the Victory's bow were very triangle-ish, because I haven't learned how to do the correct angle. And for three angles, we do it just like the two, it's just one block longer, and you can kind of see what I mean. It's like a staircase effect, and you can already see this is pretty circular compared to its length, so it's kind of like a circle. And these are common on many kinds of ships, and I'm not going to go listing names of like what types of ship would have this, because pretty much any ship can have almost any kind of bow, because if you have like a high-speed cruise ship, you might have a longer, shallower bow, but there aren't really many high-speed cruise ships. There's more just high-speed ferries that have that kind of bow. So yeah, we're going to move on to the next kind of shape, and this is a more low profile, made for more speed and kind of more for looks as well. You might see this on yachts, and classical cruise liners have them too, like the Titanic, where it doesn't really curve out like this, like it does on a modern cruise ship. It's more straight and going out, which you see on most modern yachts as well. And this is pretty much straightforward as this is. It's mostly you want a very long shape. Usually, yeah, because with the yachts, they have very long angles if you ever looked close at a yacht. And usually the bows are very long and take up almost half of the ship's length. So yeah, that's basically how you do this. And there are many other shapes to this as well, because I kind of forgot to go over this, but some ships have bows like this, and you might even have bows that are even like less angled than that, like that. And then some ships, like the Desert Pearl, when I made it, it did not have any angle out. So every ship is different, like I'm saying. And basically your 45-degree angle is seen on a good amount of ships, and I usually, like when I first started off making ships, I used this for so long until I learned that I could try other things when I started experimenting around with all that good stuff. And as for speedboat bows, you want to do it a little more differently, and it is a little more challenging to get the hang of doing this, and I myself is not even good at that yet. But basically, instead of doing the staircase like we did over here, where it's like 2 blocks on top of the 3, you only want to have 1 block on top. And this gives it more, this keeps the elongated shape that you want on a high-speed boat, which is to help make your boat cut through the water faster and faster. So hopefully, this is my first shot doing this, but hopefully I'm trying to, at least I'm being as straightforward as possible with this. I know that it's not going to be helpful for everyone, but basically what you want to do is just experiment with it, and eventually you'll have the right idea and you'll be making good ships. And also by watching the other tutorials I'm going to be doing. So right here is just pretty much like back over there, but this bow is a little bit different because it is an even width, and I haven't really made too many ships with this. It is only the Albatross 4, and I think a few of my fishing boats have had even wide bows. I do not use this on cruise ships because it pretty much becomes a big pain when you're trying to do elevators and hallways and all that stuff in the middle, and you don't have a center point for that. So try to avoid even bows unless you think it's necessary and you can work around it. And normally the even bows aren't as, how you say, you can't make a very long elongated one with an even bow, at least too well. It'll be more curved if you're making something that isn't that wide with an even width. So right here is just a little brief thing. I know that if you have been on the Operation Infinite Operation Infinite Ocean server, you would know that some of our ships have had these little things poking out right below the waterline below the bow. These are called bulbous bows, and these are used for kind of they cut down, make the fish, or yeah, makes the boat more eco-efficient and helps cut down on gas and makes it go through the water a little faster just because it helps break up the waves better. And these are seen on cruise ships and many of the very large ships like container ships and oil ships. And a lot of small ships have them too, even the little fishing trawlers. They have a little tiny one just because they have to go through rough water. And pretty much almost any boat can have one. You don't see many high-speed boats with them just because they have a very low profile underneath. And we'll talk more into bulbous bows in the hulls tutorial that I will do later on. So yeah, we're going to go back and quick recap on everything. So right here are our center point. I like to call it the center point of the bow because it's centered and angles. It's the main angle shape that you see if you were looking at the ship from the side. And basically, here's your 45-degree angle. I don't know any other degrees like these guys, but you have all kinds. And we also covered the straight bows, or bows that were more straight and less curved. Like the Desert Pearl, it had a very straight bow. And we have all kinds of shapes, and as I said before, not every single, or not all, or losing my words here, but all ships have different kinds of bows. Most of them usually have the general straight 45-degree angle, and many, like some classical ones, have the curved shape. Some yachts have a very long shape because they have to go very fast, or they have the straight-on shape like the Desert Pearl. So yes, many ships have different kinds of bows. And usually if you were to do, or just look at ships in general, let's say you want to build a standard yacht, or, well, yachts are kind of complicated, but let's say you just want to build a standard little boat, and pretty much you want to look at pictures, and looking at pictures really helps in determining what to do on a ship, and kind of bring that into a fictional ship that you make, and it makes it look realistic. So yes, this is pretty much going to conclude the bow tutorial section of this shipbuilding tutorial series. And yeah, so I hope I clarified everything and made everything simple as can be. If you ever need any help, feel free to leave a comment. I'll respond to that comment if you ever have a problem, just to make sure you understand. So this is pretty much my first shot at doing a tutorial, so I'm not too familiar on how to set it up and get all the information out as well as possible. But yeah, as I ramble on here, so I'd like to thank you for watching. My name is Chris, also known as Wolfmind, and goodbye.